But psychology tells a different story. Researcher Dr. Roy Baumeister spent decades studying the human need to belong and found that belonging is not primarily about location or even about other people. It is about something much more internal, a sense of psychological safety so deep and so consistent that the self can fully relax into a moment without scanning for what might shift. For most people, that safety was built early, in environments that were consistent enough, warm enough, predictable enough, that the nervous system learned, this is safe. You can land here. You can stop watching. But for some people, early environments were not consistent enough to build that foundation. Not necessarily traumatic, not necessarily cruel, just uncertain in ways that kept the nervous system slightly alert, slightly watching, slightly ready to adapt if the atmosphere changed, and a nervous system that learned to stay alert never fully learned how to arrive. This is why you can be in the most beautiful place with the people you love most and still feel that inch of distance. It is not the place. It is not the people. It is your nervous system doing what it was trained to do, staying slightly above the ground instead of landing on it, keeping just enough distance to be ready to move if it needs to. Psychologists call this a state of chronic low-level hypervigilance, and it does not announce itself dramatically. It simply lives as a quiet hum beneath everything, a background awareness that never fully switches off. And here is what that costs you. It costs you full presence, the ability to be so completely inside a moment that time disappears and self-consciousness dissolves. The moments that other people describe as feeling alive, you have touched them. You know what they feel like at the edges, but something keeps pulling you back to the threshold instead of letting you fully through the door. But here is something that most explanations of this feeling get wrong. They treat it only as a wound, as something to be healed so that you can finally feel at home the way everyone else does. And that framing misses something important about you. Because the people who never feel fully at home anywhere are also the people who are never fully fooled by anywhere. You cannot be completely captured by a place or a group or an ideology because some part of you always remains a witness. Always slightly outside. Always able to see the thing for what it actually is rather than what you need it to be. Philosopher Simone Weil wrote that attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. And the people who live at the threshold, who are always slightly watching, always slightly aware, have developed a quality of attention that fully arrived people rarely access. You notice what others miss. You see the room and the space between the people in it. You feel the undercurrents that everyone else is too comfortable to register. Your not quite belonging is not just a loss, it is also a kind of sight. Now here is where honesty matters, because there are two versions of never feeling at home, and they are easy to confuse. The first is the sensitivity and awareness we have been describing. A person whose nervous system is simply calibrated for depth, who processes environments so completely that full arrival takes longer, requires more trust, more consistency than most environments offer. This person does not feel at home because they are waiting for something real. And when they find it, rarely slowly, with the right people in the right conditions, they feel it completely. The second is a person who has unconsciously decided, somewhere along the way, that home is not safe, that landing means becoming vulnerable, that belonging means becoming visible in a way that once cost them something. This person does not feel at home not because the right home hasn't appeared, but because some part of them will not allow arrival even when it is being offered. Ask yourself, when you have come closest to feeling at home somewhere, what happened? Did the feeling fade because the place changed? Or did something in you quietly begin to move away from it before it could move away from you? Because that distinction matters more than any other question in this video. Here is what I want you to know. The ache of never feeling fully at home is real. It is one of the loneliest feelings there is, to be surrounded by everything that should be enough and still feel that quiet distance. I am not going to tell you it is not a loss, but I want you to hold something alongside that loss. The fact that you have never been fully captured by any place or any group means that you have never stopped being fully yourself. The people who belong everywhere often belong to something more than they belong to themselves. You have kept something intact that is very difficult to keep. Your own witness, your own eyes, your own quiet, unmovable center. Home might not be a place you find. It might be a quality of presence you learn to carry. Not arrived, not still searching. Just here, exactly as you are, with the distance and the depth and the particular kind of seeing that has always been yours. That might be the closest thing to home that someone like you ever finds. And it might be enough. In the comments, tell me one place or one moment where you came the closest to feeling at home. Just one. It doesn't have to be a place. It can be a moment, a person, a quality of light. And if you want more conversations like this, psychology that takes the feeling seriously before it tries to explain it, subscribe, because that is what this channel is here for. The next video is for people who say sorry before they have done anything wrong. If that is you, I think you know why you need to watch it.